Hello there everybody, this is shadowgear635 here doing a review of Tahu, and God damn it, I forgot it's Ikir! His name is Ikir, thank you, google.com. So yeah, I'm not gonna spoil it. Well, I guess I am gonna spoil it. This is my favorite combination in terms of a creature and a Toa. Tahu is pretty alright, Ikir is pretty alright, and together they make the best combined, united form to me, which is awesome. But we're going to start this off with combining Ikir. And once again, I do want to say, these sets are sold separately. You get Tahu and you get Ikir separate. But for the sake of the combination, you guys have heard enough by now. Let's just get to Ikir. I think Ikir is pretty alright. I feel like it's a better version of Uxar, but I don't... there are two really cool things about him. I will say that. His feet here, he's got nice little talons and such. But he also has a superposable one here on the back. Using some really, really tiny Technic pieces in order to create that look. And you can adjust it to have him basically claw onto anything. Like, that's a really cool look. Or you can just have him, like, hang out in the back. So he can, like, have his feet flat. If you so choose, that's up to you. Not gonna stop you. The wings themselves, I think they're okay. I think the design of them is a bit weird, having orange up here and then some translucent yellow and red there. It's a bit odd. And they can't pose all that much. This goes up a bit, this goes down just a bit. I mean, I think it looks okay. Skype.com just messaged me. Hello, Skype.com. And it has the same exact gimmick as Uxar, which you just take the wings and kind of flap them up and down as you so wish. But they're also posable by using a ball joint. So you can take this, and they're attached by Cortica necks, and that makes it swivel around, and you can adjust the wings as much as you'd like, which you can imagine how useful that is, especially like on Tahu. But I don't know, man. Like, I don't have a lot of opinions on Ikir, because to me he's just like he's the bird you use to create the combined form of Tahu, which I feel like, I don't know. Like, I'll get to this when I get to Tahu, but it's like both of these sets, they're not mediocre, they're just fine. But once you combine them, you get a really cool figure, but you only get it if you combine both the sets. So, I don't know, that's how I feel. I think Ikir is perfectly fine. I feel like he has really good pieces. These small little pinhole and with an axle at the end, you get 4 of those in this set, and those are super useful and rad pieces to have. I think the trans orange and the gold, like, I think those are some nice recolors there. Overall, it's fine. I think his wings are kind of a bummer. I think the gimmick is perfectly cool. I love that you can pose the wings. I don't know. It's just alright. The shadow trap you get with Ikir is by far the most basic and the most boring. I do think it's a little weird he comes with a blue eye as opposed to the red like the other ones have. I don't know. As I've stated before, I love the gimmick with these guys. You just kind of push that in, traps them, and that's that. This is the most boring shadow trap. To hell with this thing. Tahu to me is very weird. Just a teaspoon. There are some parts of him that I love. In fact, I think they're actually really cool compared to the other Toa. There's just 2 major issues I have with them, and they're both like aesthetic things. Or even, I don't know. Like the legs are perfectly fine. There's nothing particularly crazy going on with them here. You know, having the gold feet there, that's alright. This nice jewel piece and trans orange and gold, that's always appreciated. 2 interesting recolors though. If I take this piece off, you do get a nice Mata red, like a very long Hero Factory shell. That's always nice, or a CCBS shell, sorry me. And also, weirdly enough, I believe a bright blue Borak eye. That's a new recolor for that piece, and it's super cool, but also really weird that it's on Tahu. And it's on his chest print too. I mean, it makes it, look cohesive. It's just a bit odd. I'm surprised it isn't like gold or even, trans orange or whatever, man. I don't know, whatever, man. The legs overall are fine. They're okay. I mean, I think using this newer piece here for the thigh and then this here for the shin I think that looks better than the way it looks on Kopaka, but overall, I don't know. I could take it or leave it. You do have the gimmick, as the other Toa do, where they have a little plug on the back, and you just kind of freewheel this guy. And you can combine Tahu's swords to make him do this, you know, however you wish. You can detach the swords as well. I already ruined the gimmick. I don't know. This Tahu's actually pretty fluent like my Gali is, so he can just swing back and forth as much as he'd like. And the weapon's heavy enough to where, like, the weight of the weapon kind of just makes him glide a lot easier than, I guess, the other weapons of the Toa. I don't know. The gimmick is pretty alright. The chest print on Tahu, I think having that bright blue there along his here at the abdomen, I think that looks really cool. I mean, there's enough of it here to where I'm kind of like, huh, that's weird. I wish there was more of that color on this set, but there isn't. I mean, if you want to count the blue pins, that's a different story, but I don't know, man. I like the detail here, and I think it looks really rad. I love the bright gold chest piece. I think it looks really cool. And the torso in general, I think looks pretty fun. Well, perhaps fun isn't the right word to use, but I think, you know, it's built very basically. It's nothing too extravagant. I do like that there are some Borak eyes there to kind of, you know, add that smoothness to it. So when you put this back on, it kind of simulates kind of a curve going into that. That's always very much appreciated. That's rad. Generally, I feel the arms, there's nothing really fantastic to write home about, especially the lower arm. The shoulder pad, though, I think, you know, it's nice and posable. It's a recolor of the skull villain armor in gold. That's always appreciated because I didn't like this piece all that much because it came in gunmetal, but now that it's in gold, who knows? I may use it. Who knows, man? But it's a bit posable, not really up and down all that much, but you can have his arm go all the way out, and there's no real hindrance. That's always cool. Always nice. And while I'm here, I may as well talk about the weapons, which, they're interesting. The weapons, well, they're not really interesting. So the gimmick with the weapons is that you see it's extended out now, but you can pull it back. I don't see the purpose of doing that. I mean, it's a gimmick. You can kind of just have this spring forward and go, pew, but that's, I don't know why you wouldn't just keep the swords extended like this. I think it looks way better. Also, weirdly enough, you see that little brown little piece there? It's a 3-long axle with a little stopper at the end, like when you use pistons. So it's a 3-long. So that's interesting. And I never questioned it or even thought of it until like a day or so before I started reviewing this guy. It comes with this extra axle so you can combine the two swords into like a staff. I never put that together. I feel so stupid for not recognizing it, but I don't know, man. I like this. I mean, if you wanted to collapse them in, it's not perfect. One overlaps over the other, and that makes that gimmick a bit better, so the staff isn't as long. But I don't know, I feel like this is a cool integration of the weapons. The swords are personally nowhere near as silly, well, outside of the colors, are nowhere near as silly as I thought they'd be, so let's move on to his face. Tahu's mask it's fine. I feel like even it's better than the previous version. The only reason why I don't like it that much is because it has a bit of silver in it. That's really it. I feel like it looks stern. It looks not cold. Actually, that's ironic. But I like that there are still vents here on the side. I like kind of like the stern looking eyes. Just in general, I like the way this mask looks quite a bit. And normally I would switch out for the golden mask, but there's something I want to talk about with Tahu. So in general, in terms of an overall, like, who's your favorite Toa, it's Tahu in this wave. Because I feel like as a toy, he is the most playable and posable. And he has the best weapons for it as well. But there's just, if you take Tahu, you like looking from the front, he looks pretty filled in. You're looking from the side, dude's a beanpole. Dude has nothing going on back here. He's as thin as a rail. And it looks so weird. I mean, I get it. Like, he has no backpack or anything because you need to put the creature on there. But it just looks so empty. And it's, like, it makes him feel frail and thin. And, like, he's very posable and fun to play with. But, like, man, it's super weird how thin he is. It's kind of distracting. And another thing, which I think bothered me more than it should have. So, this is Tahu. Hello, my name is Tahu. Hello. He's the Toa of Fire. He's red. Where's the red? Right? Like, think about that. Like, where's the red on this guy? I mean, he has, those red Hero Factory shells here, CCBS, has red CCBS shells here on his legs, but they're pretty much covered up by the armor. And the only other red that's on him is his mask. But then that changes when you flip the mask over to the golden mask, which in general I do like. If I had to get my opinion out there, I do think he looks way better with the golden mask, like all the larger Toa do. Like, this looks really cool, but there's no red on Tahu. It's black, gray, trans orange, and gold. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just, I feel like some of the trans orange parts could have been swapped out for red. Just plain old Mata red. And I think it's super weird that the Toa Fire doesn't have any red in him, or very little red. I mean, sure, he's got trans orange, I mean, that's fire enough, but just a small bit of insight. I don't know, I think it's a bit weird. Anyway, now that he has his golden mask, we may as well combine these guys and see what's going on. Join me as we take an adventure down Tahu Lane and Phoenix Fire! It's Tahu. Now focus. This is important. This version of Tahu, this Phoenix version, it's surprisingly alright. It's surprisingly alright. This is the way I prefer to fold up the little feets. You can also fold those up as well if you so choose. But I do like kind of have them hanging here on the bottom. It kind of gives a nice, cool look from the front. Of like some bits sticking out on the side. I like the way that looks. Also, as I mentioned earlier when I talked about Ikir, you can move the wings on this guy, so they're posable as well. So you don't even have to interact with the gimmick in order to make them pose, which is super awesome. And because, Ikir's head and Tahu's mask are the same color, it all blends in well enough. So yeah, he's still wearing a silly hat, but I don't know, man. And like, he looks more filled in now. I mean, he has little feathers sticking out the back, which is, not bothersome, but it's fine. Like, in general, I like the way this Tahu looks. I think it's because I didn't expect a lot out of Tahu. I didn't like him all that much, especially from the previous 2015 version. I wasn't super hot. I wasn't super hot on him, but he's okay. I love this version of Tahu, and I think I thought it was cool that Tahu is better than I expected, and with his creature, he has the cleanest combination out of any of the Toa. And I think he just, in general, looks fantastic. Weapons are a little bit silly. Tahu as a base figure, I think, is really poseable and really fun to pose around and play with. And with Ikir, you just give him wings and a fancy hat, and he just looks ready to go. Looks fun. I'm gonna give this fancy hat an even fancier hat. It's double. Oh, jeez, it's TF2. This. There, everyone's got a fancy hat. All right. So, otherwise, yeah, that's how I feel about the sets. If you want the TLDR, not as good as the previous wave, but overall still a lot of fun. So, yeah, this has been Shadow Gear 655, and I hope you all have a good day. Bye-bye.